So let's run down some fun facts on inaugurations. William Henry Harrison, all right, February 9th, 1773, he was born. Old guy when he took over. He was Tippecanoe. That's what his nickname was. He's a fighter, Indian fighter. When he was inaugurated in 1841, he spoke for 2 hours in freezing cold weather with no jacket. And 90 days later, he was dead from pneumonia. Isn't that unbelievable? 30 days later, not 90. 30 days later, he's dead from pneumonia after giving a 2-hour speech in the cold. And I think that weakened his immune system. I'm not a doctor, but that's what I look like from a historian.
It's tragic, and it does create a bit of a constitutional crisis. First of all, you're right. He speaks for almost 2 hours. The speech is amazing. It's over 8,400 words. He starts by invoking the ideals of the ancient Roman Republic, and then mentions the president's responsibility to uphold the Constitution, I think 30 or 40 times. But you're right. He forgoes the hat, he forgoes the jacket, and he forgoes the carriage ride back to the White House. He actually goes back on horseback, and then he's dead, as you said, almost a month later.
But then we got John Tyler, one of the worst presidents in the history of the country, because he was a slave kind of guy. So Harrison is out of there. Now, Lincoln, his inauguration in a second, as I write about in Killing Lincoln, my book, Killing Lincoln, I thought was the best. 7-minute address, 7 minutes, that's all it was. And of course, the famous quote is, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness and a right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive to finish the work we are in, which is uniting the nation, all right, after the Civil War. Bind up the nation's wound, care for him who have borne the battle, for his widow and his orphan. He's not just saying the North, he's saying everybody. I thought that was absolutely brilliant and the best inaugural address. Do you agree?
It's certainly in the top 3, Bill. I mean, he has the extraordinary task of trying to reconcile a nation that's been divided by war. And what really struck me is on sentences 12 and 13, he says that slavery is the cause for this. And he says that yet we shouldn't judge people who have owned slaves, which I found to be almost a shocking statement. But his goal here is, how do we come together?
That's
and
right.
He's very forgiving. And I don't think you can forgive anybody who owns slaves, but his role as president was to come together. And by using malice toward none, and in the first inaugural, the better angels of our nature, I think he, sets it on that trajectory at least.
Listen, the people who want to remove Abraham Lincoln's name from the high school in San Francisco have no blanket idea about the man. He wasn't operating on a moral imperative by saying, hey, if you own slaves, it's okay. He wasn't doing that. What he was trying to do was bring it all down so that people could practice citizenship in one nation again. That's called the greater good. Now, perhaps the most charismatic president in my lifetime was John F. Kennedy, and here is his famous inaugural remarks. Go.
I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
JFK, 35th president, 43 years old when he gave that address, first Roman Catholic, and Joe Biden is the second Roman Catholic president. Now, it is stunning to me that some people think Joe Biden's address today was actually better than JFK's call for service, that all Americans unite to make their country better. How about you? What do you think?
I'm not going to weigh in on that. I think it's too early. I think we need to see more about what Joe actually does, to put these things into action. And you're right. This speech by JFK is very much about service. He later asks, will you join in that historic effort? And again, JFK himself, a World War II vet, I think, feels very strongly about this idea of giving selflessly to the country. And what I appreciated with Biden's tone is that his theme was American anthem, and contrasted with Trump's American carnage. I think there's more potential for people to come together and to serve a common good.
What do you mean by American carnage?
Well, I think that was a quote from Trump's first inauguration, and I felt his tone was a little bit dystopian. And again, he says that the problems in America, he alone is qualified to solve them. And whether or not he is or wasn't the point. The point was, I didn't hear the call for all Americans to join into how do we make America better? And for Biden, I felt that he was speaking to all people.
Not until today. I mean, Trump absolutely believed that he was walking into a corrupt situation and he wasn't going to sugarcoat it, which is why he won the first time around. And Biden is totally different than that. But again, I will be surprised if 6 months from now, and we'll have you back, Doctor, in 6 months, we see any kind of unification platform by the new Biden administration. I hope we do, but I'll be surprised. Hey, Doc, thanks for helping us out. Enjoy California. Well, Joe Biden is going to be president, and we may be in for some economic uncertainty. That's why now more than ever, I recommend you diversify with gold and silver. The only company I recommend is American Hartford Gold. So please call them right now and tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $1,500 of free silver on your first order. Now, since I've been recommending American Hartford Gold, gold itself up over 40%, silver up over 60%. So don't wait. Call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532.